do a quick screen share over to this one. So today, we're looking at unlocking the power of your website, strategies for effective lead generation. Do you want to just quickly introduce yourself, Brian, and then I'll kind of run through the agenda and what we've got going on. But just to give people an idea of who you are and where you're calling from and what you're up to, and maybe if you've got a website.
Yeah, I'm an old fellow, and I live in Australia near Melbourne. And yes, I do have a website, but it's it'd probably be good if it had a little bit more work on it. But there you go.
Great. Thanks, Brian.
It's getting around to it. Well, I mean, I don't know how much you want. It's like really I'm looking at LinkedIn as like Facebook and Insta is just, to put it bluntly, it's just a heap of garbage, and it's just very much to be able to get seen or anybody interested. It's really not now. It used to be maybe a bit, but it's not now the sort of the platform.
And just to put it into context, what is the kind of service or product offering that you provide?
It's being able to give people an opportunity to learn a skill that they can earn an income from.
Yeah. So learn a skill
either within the job or not within the job. So it's up to them.
Excellent. Great. No, that sounds good. I'm sure by the end of the call, I'll probably learn a bit more about it. And, maybe you've got some examples that you can share as well. I'm just going to set do not disturb for now because my watch keeps pinging and everything pings. I'm an Apple user, so everything's all interconnected and it all just triggers off. So today,
so you're not really a self-thinker then, you let the other stuff do it for you.
Yeah. Well, these days you've got to very reliant on it. Let's have a look at this morning's session. Probably looking at around about 45 minutes. The first 20 minutes, I'm going to run through an agenda of stuff, and then we'll open it up for a bit of discussion, Q&A, open roundtable styling. So on the agenda today, I'm going to just do a quick introduction, who I am, just so you're aware. Look at number 2, why your website needs to be a lead generator. Number 3, how to craft a high converting website and some top tips. And then we're going to look at maximizing your website, its lead gen potential, nurturing your leads with email marketing. That's kind of a nice natural follow-up. And then how we can use analytics to refine your lead gen strategy. Okay, so just wanted to introduce a little bit about myself, if I may. So yeah, just good morning, welcome everyone. For those that are tuning into the recording, my name is Alex Smith, and I am the founder of Leadeth. Leadeth is a powerful lead generation agency that exists to support business owners achieve their sales goals through automating their leads and generation, predominantly on LinkedIn. Now, I'm also the founder of DoorWeb. DoorWeb is my digital marketing agency, which has been running for around about 5 years now, since kind of 2018. And I've built over 40 websites for mainly small business clients in the local area. I've got a couple of clients further afield, but mainly kind of UK based. So the purpose of this masterclass today is to kind of help small business owners and entrepreneurs just to learn how they can turn their website into a powerful lead generating machine. And some of the key takeaways are going to be strategies and tactics to help you optimize your website so it can attract more visitors, capture leads, and ultimately grow your business. So we're going to cover everything from kind of designing effective landing pages, call to actions, implementing lead magnets, and conversion funnels. So whether you're just starting out or your online presence is looking to improve with your existing website, I think, Brian, you mentioned you already got a website, which is great. So this masterclass is just going to provide you with a bit of knowledge and some tools to kind of help you push that a bit further and hopefully succeed. So let's get started. I always like to start off on this one. This is a couple of basic marketing models that I use just so people can understand where we're at in the whole process. Now, if you look at that funnel, that's all, top of that funnel is all about awareness, kind of putting yourself out there to attract people to your offering or what it is that you offer. And as they get attracted, they kind of gain this interest in what you're up to. They move down to this consideration point, and then they go down to a purchase, and that's when you then retain the clients. So I believe the website kind of sits at quite a vital, pivotal moment there under the consider stage. So in terms of generating initial traffic and ads to the website, that's often up the top there, awareness. The interest stuff, I mean, you can do a little bit of lead magnet stuff will help with interest and kind of providing value add content. That's all going to help. But the actual kind of consider, that's where they come to. And often things like a reviews page, that's going to really help them to decide, you know, yeah, I'm going to use Brian for his course or whatever he's up to. And they'll come to the website where you can showcase kind of previous clients and what you've been up to. The flywheel effect is kind of this ongoing effect. So we're attracting new clients, we're engaging with them, we're delighting them, and then they become advocates. So they're promoting kind of you, your services, and in return, that promotion helps you to get new clients. So it creates this flywheel effect. So there are a couple of models that I'd just like to go through. Now, just to put it into perspective, so the Leadeth roadmap, it's basically a done for you service where people start knowing nothing about LinkedIn. They work their way up this wiggly road to having more time and more sales. And we do that through identifying the target audience. So looking at who we need to be targeting. We prime people's personal LinkedIn profiles to make sure that's speaking to that audience. And then we have a LinkedIn outreach automation tool that, you know, connects with people, engages with people. The natural follow-on to a LinkedIn conversation is an email. So there's this automatic email follow-up sequence that we build out. Video content is about putting you at the center stage, you know, on LinkedIn, creating a bit of recorded video of interest to your target audience, and then snipping that up into bite-sized chunks, which we can then recycle on a 13-week schedule. And then appointment setting and calendar scheduling, that's the final element, just to kind of automate it all together and get clients hooked into what you're doing. So that's the roadmap. So every masterclass I've done so far, we've taken a stage of this and looked at it, because this is kind of the journey that we take people on. Now, the website is obviously quite fundamental to kind of a lot of different areas of this. All the email correspondence, the LinkedIn outreach campaigns, Calendly settings and appointment setting, that all comes back to the website, to that consider point, which is quite important. So why your website needs to be a lead generator? So a couple of bits of information here. So as a small business owner, generating leads is essential for your business to strive, to succeed and thrive. And without a steady stream of new leads, you know, your sales are just going to drop down, wither away. So it's important to have a constant flow of these leads coming into your business. And we've got to attract more leads and convert more leads. And that should be our goal. So whenever we're kind of looking at setting goals and plannings, we need to, you know, that needs to be a priority. So the website is actually one of the most powerful tools at our disposal for generating leads. Unlike traditional marketing methods like cold calling or direct mail, your website will actually work 24/7 for you. So it works around the clock. So a great example, Brian, you're the other side of the world here. You know, when I'm in bed, my website is promoting what I do, generating leads for me whilst I sleep. Whereas, you know, if I had to pay somebody or do mailing campaigns and phone call campaigns, I'd have to employ someone on the other side of the world to do that. And it would be very costly and very time consuming. So we can attract and engage with more potential clients around the clock. So that's a key thing. The website is a perfect place to showcase your products or services and to provide that valuable information to your audience and encourage visitors to take that next action to generate more leads and make the most of the valuable tool of the website. So there's some statistics coming up, but did you know that with a strong web presence, you can actually generate 50% more leads than those with a weak or no web presence? And so it's vital to have a website. And then when you start to optimize your website for lead generation, you're actually increasing the chances of attracting more people to your website. And then you can, well, I'll show you some of the stats that are coming up. Here we go. So this comes from Forbes. There's about 1.13 billion websites on the internet in 2023. And apparently a staggering 82% are actually inactive. So only 200 kind of million of the 1.13 billion websites are actually maintained and visited. That's a huge statistic. So just so many people are just creating sites, and they're just dead. They're not maintained and updated. So it's vital to keep them up to date. That's one key thing. So top lead gen statistics for 2023. 50% of marketeers consider lead gen as a top priority in their marketing campaigns. Organizations typically generate around about 1,877 leads per month on average. So obviously in the small business sector, that'd be significantly lower potentially. And the mean cost per lead across all industries, so off every industry sector, is around about it's about £165. So it's about 200 US dollars, which is quite a significant investment to obtain that initial lead. 97% of people ignore cold calls these days. Huge statistic. So they've got to be warm. There's got to be a connection there before we try that cold call. 76% of marketers use content to generate leads. So that's one secret there. Content is the strategy here to generating those leads. 68% of marketers say that social media has actually helped them to generate more leads. I'm a bit on the fence with social media in terms of putting content out there, and I'm still in the early days of measuring the results from that and seeing an ROI. But it's kind of a brand awareness thing for me, as opposed to seeing a straight away return on the investment with social media. It's quite a slow thing. 44% of sales reps often are too busy to follow up with leads, so that's just wasted opportunities there. So some of the key characteristics of your audience that you need to just think about: demographic information, age, gender, location. What are their interests? Think about their pain points and their buying habits. Once you've nailed kind of your audience, you can then kind of create this website and craft it so it's pointing to that audience. So creating a high converting website, some of the key elements, now we know the importance of generating those leads for a small business. We can think about, what's the ideal tool look like for you as a lead generator. So we're just going to dive into a few of those elements. There's several critical factors that contribute to a high converting website. And often I put these into three different categories: messaging, design, or UX, which is user experience, and then calls to action. So they're the three main things. So every time you analyze a page or of your own that you're looking at, think about your messaging, think about the design, UX, and whether it's mobile responsive, and then think about what is the next step for the user, call to action. It should be clear. Clarity is the key here. So with messaging, your website's messaging needs to be clear, concise, and customer focused. You've got to communicate what you offer and why and how it matters to your potential customers. So when you start to address these pain points and show them how you can help them, they're more likely to then convert into a positive lead. When it comes to the design, your website's design needs to be visually appealing. So it's got to be easy to navigate, mobile friendly, as we said, and it's just got to be really simple for your visitors to find what they're looking for. We don't want to overwhelm them with just too much information, because they'll just switch off straight away. And you've got a fine number of seconds, 3 or 4 seconds to kind of hit them. If it doesn't hit them, they're off, they're gone. Finally, let's talk about calls to action. So a call to action is basically a button or a link that prompts the visitor on the website to take that next step. And that call to action should be clear, prominent, and relevant to kind of what their needs are currently. I'll also mention this book here. This is Don Miller's book. It's called Story Brand, Building a Story Brand. Fantastic book that helps you to kind of deliver high converting websites and any messages, whether it's you're writing emails or whatever it is, however your business is communicating. This book covers it. It's a framework. And when you start to understand how he writes it, he basically talks about big box office cinema movies, how they hit the box office, and the successful ones all follow this same framework. Where there's a character, that character is potentially your client. You come along as the guide. You give them a 3-step solution to solve their problems, so they can avoid, death and basically have success. And that's the model. So yeah, we're going to have a quick look at some examples. Let's have a look at these. This one here, this is called ClickUp. ClickUp is a project management tool, and it's basically used by all sorts of kind of businesses just to manage what they do. Clearly, we can see the branding. We've got the logo, and we've got a navigation menu, which is quite clear. And then up here on the pop up there, that's a nice lead magnet that's popped up within so many seconds of coming onto their site. Simple form, it just wants my email address. But yeah, we've got some actions here. We can contact sales. That one's a bit not so visible. Sign up is shouting out at me, white on the purple there. Then we can log in, and also we've got another way to get started here. The main element of the form. You can see the messaging. The messaging is so simple here. One app to replace them all. It says it all, doesn't it? And we've got some cool graphics as well. So just an example of someone that's built a website that kind of appreciates messaging design and call to actions. Another one I found yesterday, Shopify. Again, clear calls to action, start free trial up here. The eye gets drawn to that section. We've got a banner here which talks about their winter 23 product updates, so new stuff they're doing. The global commerce platform is their title. So quite clear that this is an e-commerce system. Build your website with Shopify to sell online, offline, and everywhere in between. And then lots of pictures of people making kind of crafty things or selling things, products there. So the navigation is very simple. 3 menus here, really simple, clean and simple. And that's what we're looking to achieve. So just a couple of examples there. Right, so how do we maximize our website's lead potential, lead generating potential? So one of the most effective ways is to turn our website into what we call a lead magnet, or you can even use landing pages. And these are just one-page sites, so they're really super simple to develop, and then you can measure the output of them quite easily. So in this section, we're just going to quickly look at the different types of lead magnets and landing pages that work best for different types of businesses, and how you can create them for your own website. So I don't know, Brian, do you what website tool do you use to build the website? Maybe if you could share with us.
It's the platform it's on is, I'm trying to think of the name, just the standard
WordPress.
Yeah, it's just in WordPress.
WordPress, excellent. Yeah, so 90% of the sites I build are developed in WordPress, and it's it's an open source, great platform, does the job. I don't know whether they're losing market share because their developments are a little bit slow in terms of headless CSS and creating really responsive sites that don't rely on so much code. There's some new technologies coming out, kind of Web3 and all sorts, which kind of just do things differently. So I don't know whether WordPress are going to stay ahead of the game there. They probably will, because it's they've been at it for so long. But some examples for kind of lead capture forms. Let's have a look at this. Just talk about lead magnets, just so you're fully aware of what they are. I'm sure you are. But a lead magnet is quite simply a free offer or incentive that's designed to attract and capture the contact information of potential customers. And the goal is to convert them into paying customers. So in essence, a lead magnet it's a valuable piece of content that you're going to give away in exchange for a prospect's contact information, such as their email or their phone number or their name, whatever it is that you require. So common types of lead magnets that you may have seen are ebooks, white papers. So these are detailed documents that provide in-depth information on a particular topic that's going to be relevant to your target audience. Webinars and video series. So these are online events that offer valuable information training to participants. Often they're over several days. Those are quite popular. Checklists or templates. So it could be you're going out to your audience, you're thinking, what are the top 10 problems of my audience are facing? So you can provide them with a checklist to say, here's a solution, top 10 checklist, tick this off. And that could be really good value add content for your potential prospects. Free trials and demos that often, time limited offers and things like that also can help people and get them to kind of a bit of commitment before they're actually kind of buying into a purchase. But the key to creating an effective lead magnet is to offer something of real value to your target audience and making it relevant to what they're doing. So some top tips on creating this lead capture form so it converts really well. This is probably the most critical element of your website when it comes to lead generation. So some top tips for high conversion here is keep it simple. The more fields that a visitor has to fill out, the less likely that they are to kind of complete the whole form. So stick to just the essentials that you need. So whether that's just an email address, name, phone number, just keep it super simple. If there's too much for them to fill out, they're going to switch off and get bored. Write clear, compelling copy. So we try to use persuasive language to encourage visitors to fill out the form. And we need to clearly communicate the value of what it is they're going to receive in exchange for their contact information. So attention grabbing designs, bold colors, using elements to stand out from the rest of the site is going to help. So we need to make sure it's visually appealing. Place the form in a prominent location. So it's no good putting it right at the bottom in the footer where no one's going to see it. It's got to be right at the top, it's in the header or in the sidebar of the website. And finally, we need to test and measure it to iterate it and optimize it, and then continually monitor this form's performance. So we can test different wording, test what's working best. And there's a lot of tools, even for WordPress, which we'll cover in a moment, that can really help you achieve that and do it quite easily. So 1 month you can do a certain wording, and then the next month you can do another wording, or you can do a 50-50 A/B split test where 50% of the audience coming to your site see one page, 50% of the audience see another page. And that's really going to help you to really refine that whole process. So by following these tips, hopefully you can create a lead capture form that's going to quickly convert visitors into leads. So a couple of examples. Netflix, this is one I found. They basically have a very simple way of choosing their television subscription services. See the plans, click through, really super easy. Over here in the UK, we've got a company called HelloFresh, which basically deliver meal boxes to your door. And yeah, I went on their website. Again, we've got a huge attention grabber at the top with a countdown timer. It tried to entice people in with offers. And then, once you've been on the site for about 5 seconds, up flashes this promo here, get 60% off your first box. So they're just trying to collect emails at this stage. That's all they're trying to do, build up their email marketing list. So if you're on WordPress, check out WP Forms. That's a plugin for WordPress that can automate a lot of it. And there's another one called Optimizer. Optimizer basically, it's called Opt-in. Opt-in is a WP Forms plugin. So it's a plugin for a plugin, but it basically creates all these pop-ups and things in WordPress worth checking out. And there's loads of helpful tips and stuff and videos on there. So once we've kind of obtained that lead information now on the website, the next stage is to look at how we can nurture that new lead. And obviously the kind of Leadeth system, we're looking at kind of LinkedIn outreach, connecting with people from LinkedIn. Obviously that's a bit of a challenge if you're not collecting their LinkedIn user profile URL. When you start to collect that LinkedIn user profile URL, that kind of gives you ammunition to start a LinkedIn outreach campaign. If you're collecting the email address as well, that gives you more things to do. So that's why I personally do it. So email marketing is kind of an essential component of a lead nurturing system, and it's going to significantly impact your lead generation efforts. So once you've captured the lead email, you've got a direct line of communication with them, which is fantastic. They've opted in. You can then use email to continue building that relationship, providing valuable information, and ultimately converting them from a lead into a paying customer. And the key to effective email marketing is to provide value constantly to your leads through relevant and engaging content. And that does take a while to build out. It's not going to happen overnight. You've got to kind of get that content. These days with things like AI, that makes it a bit easier to kind of structure that content and produce it on a faster rate. But it's still got to be good, and you've got to have all those all important things. But yeah, think about timing with email marketing. That's quite a critical thing. So you don't want to overwhelm your leads with too many emails at once. And you don't want them to go too long without, having an email from you. So you've got to think about what's the right time, what's the right balance. It's critical to get that right. Using automation tools to schedule emails and follow-ups, that can be really helpful in a workflow. You can also use that to then track your click-through rates to see how different emails are performing. So overall, email marketing is a powerful tool for nurturing leads if you do it right. I've actually done a whole session on email marketing already. That was about session 4 or 5, if you want to go back, which talks about how we can successfully warm up email inboxes and some of the tools out there. Just as a quick overview then, top tips for email marketing here: segment your email list. So one of the most important things you can do to make your email more effective is to actually segment it based on interests or behaviors of your leads. So if you've got a selection of leads that are more active in opening those emails or replying and following the CTA, then great, send them a special email, just that give them more value or make it more relevant to them. Using clear attention grabbing subject lines, that's really good. Obviously personalization is a great way to kind of make them. Yeah, so we were just looking at the email marketing side, obviously using clear calls to action in that email so they know exactly what the next step is. Quickly then, the final elements of what we've been looking at here is to measure and test, so we need to make the most of our lead gen efforts by tracking and analyzing our website's performance. It's quite a vital thing to do. By doing so, we can then start to identify which strategies are working well and which other ones need improvement. So we'll just quickly discuss the importance of analytics and how they can help you to optimize your lead gen strategy. So when it comes to tracking your website's performance, there's several kind of key metrics to consider and pay attention to. The key ones that I like to use are the bounce rate, the conversion rate, average time on site, and then the top exit pages. So when you start to track these, you actually gain really valuable insight into how your website's performing, and you can start to make data-driven decisions that will help you improve the lead gen strategy. So the bounce rate is obviously the number of people that come to your website, and then the number that quickly remove themselves from the website within a short space of time. So they bounce off because it's obviously not for them. So obviously with a relatively high bounce rate, that's going to be a negative factor. If you've got a really low bounce rate, then that's quite good. The conversion rate, so you can actually measure, so whether that's a form completion is treated as a conversion, or whether it's someone actually buying a product. When you start to kind of measure that conversion rate, that's going to give you some really good information in terms, because you can then say, right, all the people that converted on the site, where did they come from? Did they come from social media? Did they come from clicks from email marketing? Did they come from organic social search engines? So you can start to kind of optimize, and then you might have a bit of budget to start spending on paid ads and kind of leveraging one of those strategies. Obviously the average time they're on the site is quite key. Look at your popular pages, but one that people often neglect is their top exit pages. So working out which are the pages where people exited from, and then think about how you can improve those exit pages to try and retain that visit for a little bit longer. A couple of systems that I've used in the past, obviously Google Analytics is kind of probably the biggest one for tracking all this information. There's a plugin called Google Sitekit for WordPress. It's free, really good. Hotjar is another one. Hotjar basically is a heat map for your website, and it records the visit onto your website. So you can actually see where people are touching on the screen or clicking with the mouse. So you can kind of map out every single journey, every visit to your website, and see where people have actually clicked. Really good tracking tool to kind of understand if your user experience is good and needs a bit of work there. So that kind of sums it up. Brian, any kind of big takeaways or things that you'll remember from the session?
Yeah, that probably I need to be, well, my understanding really, from being in this for a while, is that you can't be everything.
Yeah.
I think it's an impossibility. You can't be good at design and be good at copyright and be good at what you do. Like so you need to, I can say I'm crap at design. I mean, I know what looks good, but to be able to create it, that's not my forte, right? That's like barrier to actually doing anything, because then so somebody has to do that. And so that's the sort of the takeout for me. I know a lot of I understand them. It's just getting them actioned is really the for me the thing. So yeah,
Yeah,
no
and
worries.
yeah, that is a key thing.
And
And
the webinar,
yeah, so in the past, I've kind of I've had to hire copywriters who've come in on projects because they can do that element really well, really efficiently. These days with AI, have you played around with ChatGPT? Everyone's talking about that at the moment.
no, I haven't played around with it, but I've been seeing a lot of chatter about it.
Yeah, yeah. So it's
Yeah.
basically artificial intelligence. It's a brilliant little tool if you're looking to maybe copyright a landing page or something. You can say, tell it who your target market is, what it is you do. So you feed it with all the information that it needs and say, right, I want you to craft me a compelling landing page. I need a headline, a short bit of copy. I need it to be so many words long, and it will go off and produce this for you in a matter of seconds. It's quite frightening, actually, how well it works, and gives you some ideas to then work with. It's never going to be polished. It'll always need a bit of human intervention to just kind of get it looking right. Fiverr.com is a great website if you're looking for some design support and you need someone who can come alongside and just, do that element. That works quite effectively, and it's not going to cost you an arm and a leg. Some of these big creative agencies, they can charge thousands and thousands to do all that UX work, and and so normally sometimes you can get some really good results by spending a couple of £100. Someone very talented, you can say, I like what you did with that, let's see if you can do it for me, and that's the style that I like, and off you go, and they build it for you. So that's a great strategy. So yeah, in terms of kind of I'm happy to do like a look at your website if you want to share it, or if you're brave enough, Brian, just to give you some feedback and some thoughts. It's up to you.
Sorry, you can, but it's pretty rough. I mean, it's still it's in that sort of infancy stage, so it's probably not well.
Yeah.
It's probably not beneficial, really, in this. If it's up to you if you want to. It's but it's yeah, no, it's pretty sort of basic. But it needs that design work, and it's like I've been working on it for a while. But you do a bit, and you go like, oh no, that doesn't look any good, and then you just leave it because you don't know what to do. And so
Yeah. I think that's one of my biggest flaws. I think
yeah,
I like it to be pixel perfect, and you end up, some people say just get it out there regardless. Just get it out there, and then polish it off later. But it's a fine balance to get it right, and because if you don't do it, you can't.
but if you are a perfect, yeah, correct. And if you're a perfectionist, then like it sounds like you might be, then that's what limits the output. But there's friends of mine who say like, get it out. Doesn't matter if it's got spelling mistakes. Just get the damn thing out, and then you can fix that later. But yeah. Anyway, but a couple of things. I took away a few things for today. I mean, one of it is about a free trial. Really is what it is. So most of it, like my promotions have been through Facebook and other stuff. And I'm looking at LinkedIn, and that I've got a friend who's well into it, as in promoting LinkedIn, and she's the one that put me on to this with you. And from that point of view, it's like, well, I've spent stuff on Facebook and other things. It's like, well, and understanding those rates. I've got lots of people put their email in, but then they don't follow up. And then I've run there's a webinar that you record, and then you secure. Then I've got follow up emails for it as well. But it's just looking at that and the success of that. So, but it needs to come back to my website rather than a lot of other things, and that's where the work needs to be put in now.
Yeah. So
anyway, thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. You're welcome. It's great to have you with me there, Brian, this morning, because obviously it gets a bit lonely on my own. But thanks for hopping on the call. And kind of the next steps for most people is to schedule a one-to-one strategy call. Happy to share a link in the chat for that, but it's basically leadeth.io/strategy. The idea of the strategy call is to actually spend a good hour basically looking at all that you're doing in terms of lead generation, and maybe showcasing kind of some of my solutions and some of the models that I use, just to see if there's any good fit there. But yeah, it's basically a value add session where I kind of give up my time to understand a bit more about your business on a one-to-one basis, and see how we can leverage it, and see how many leads you need on a daily basis. Look at your conversion rate, and look at what that might look like for you in terms of having a steady stream of high quality leads coming into your basically your calendar on a daily basis. So strategy call, definitely worth doing. I'm more than happy if you want to book it in. It's leadeth.io/strategy. That'll take you to my Calendly page. But thanks for your time today, Brian. Thanks for your input. A pleasure. Next session, let me just have a look what we're looking at. I've lost my window. There we go. It's all in Trello. So we're going to have a look at LinkedIn ads. So that's going to be a new one for me. So I've got to create a whole week of prepping that content. We're going to explore LinkedIn ads in a little bit more detail. So yeah, a bit more expensive than Facebook and Google ads, LinkedIn ads, but it's very B2B driven network, so could be a great opportunity. And I'm going to be starting some test campaigns on LinkedIn ads myself, just to see how that's going. But yeah, thanks very much, Brian. Really appreciate you joining me today. Take care. Bye.
Thank you for the info. Ciao.
You're welcome.
All the best.
Bye.